Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's Rabbi Stephen, Rav Shmuel. Yes, little change of venue here, but it's still me. Just a different room for to cancel out the noise a little bit while my wife, the Rebbitzin, goes and does something in the other part of the house. So, first of all, we've had a few sessions of Hebrew school, and I want to thank the kids and all the parents that have their children in the Hebrew school. It maybe it's a little self-serving, but I think it's going real well. Some of the feedback that I've gotten has been pretty positive. We've been doing the two 40-minute sessions, and the kids are doing very well. They're contributing, they're listening attentively, and I think the two 40-minute sessions are really working out very well. We've got the Lals that are new to us. Welcome, folks, and you've been joining us in services, and it's wonderful to have you. And, of course, the Tisdales, great to have you on board. And, of course, the Colin Roth and Hunter, wonderful. And there's been a few other people coming by. Roberto Garcia's, your kids, been joining us every now and then. So if you have any feedback, again, let me know. This is being done for you. So, I want to, as your rabbi, I want to serve you. I want to do some good things for you. And people have, feedback with anything. People have asked me to do different melodies, which have worked out. El Adon, for example. Thank you, Jeff. And we've had people participating in the service. Lila, we're looking forward to your bat mitzvah whenever this COVID thing disappears and we can do it. And you've been certainly taking control of some of the prayers. And it's wonderful to have our young people taking part, as well as some of our regular members. People are right there reading. We've got some people like Husheng and Gabby doing some of the Hebrew readings, and Alan and Trudy, Alan doing the working with the Ashrei, and Trudy and Judy doing some of the Hebrew readings, as well as Husheng, as well as Isaac. So great to have you on board. And again, anything I can do, please let me know. We're going to be continuing the Thursday night Adult Ed, mostly with Judy and Sandy Grabiner, leading that with the Pirkei Avot. I'll be coming in every now and then with some other stuff. Some people have approached me about doing a Devar Torah, like doing a Torah study every week, and I think we're going to do that after Thanksgiving. It turns out I talked to my father today, so I will not be going anywhere. We will not be going anywhere for the Thanksgiving holiday. Unfortunately, the COVID virus has really increased. We're seeing some, they're saying this is the second wave and it's worse than the first, and we certainly want to see this end as soon as possible. So, we're going to have to do what we got to do. And quite frankly, folks, the Torah says you shall live by the Torah. So we want to do everything to extend life. So nobody likes being quarantined. Nobody likes being out of work or on furlough. But what's the alternative? I don't want to get political, but you know what? We really got to get over this. So I'm going to leave it there. Okay, let's talk about this week's Torah portion, Chayei Sara. As the title tells us, this is about the life of Sarah. Now, remember, the Torah really is not necessarily a history, although it is historical. It is really a progression of our people, of the Jews, and how Torah manifested on this earth, how we are God's chosen people, and God is our chosen God, and that's why we're God's chosen people. Let's talk about this right up front. I mentioned that with the kids in Hebrew school. Why are the Jews the chosen people? Because God came to us and with the Torah, and the Israelites said, we will do and we will hear. Even before Hashem had an opportunity to present the commandments, the Israelites were on board. They said, absolutely, we saw what you did, how you rescued us from Egyptian bondage. So we want to be involved. We're open. We're receptive to your concepts, and that's what it became. It's just like Abraham did a covenant of the parts with Hashem, and we're doing a covenant with Hashem ourselves. We've established that covenant, and we're the only people that took to heart what God was saying, and and God is our God. The one Hashem is our God, and in line with that, we see that, Chayei Sara, this is the life of Sarah. Sarah is dying, dies at the beginning of this portion. And the sages say that the juxtaposition of the Akedah of Abraham taking his son Isaac up to Mount Moriah, I believe, and he was going to bind him, and he was going to sacrifice him. An angel stayed his hand, and instead they sacrificed a ram. The story is that Sarah somehow knew that was going to happen. Some people say that Satan told her that, oh, the only son that you had in your old age, and there's no way, you're 127 now, you can't have another kid, and your husband's going to slaughter him as a sacrifice. It was too much for Sarah. And, she was really kind of on her way. She was old. She was going to die anyway, but this kind of hastened the process. So now that Isaac is the successor to Torah, to Hashem, to the principles that are yet to become Judaism, okay, Abraham basically steps away. But Abraham no longer has Sarah. And Isaac no longer has a mother. And Isaac's about 37 years old now. So what does Abraham do? He sends his servant Eliezer off to find a wife for his son Isaac, a proper wife. And at the beginning of the parsha, I'll mention this too, Abraham goes and he goes to the Hittites and he bargains with them, with Ephraim, who is the chief of the Hittites, for the land and the Cave of Machpelah, which is going to be a sepulcher. It's going to be a tomb, and he buries Sarah there, and he's going to be buried there, as will Isaac and Rebekah, Jacob and Leah, and they say that even Adam and Eve are buried there. So those four couples are buried there. It's a very holy site in Hebron, what is now Hebron. And now that that's been taken care of, again, he sends his man Eliezer, who's his top disciple, to go find a wife, to go to his family. Because, DNA, right? What prompted Abraham to realize this? He wants to find a wife from his own stock. So he sends Eliezer there with 10 camels laden with goods and gold. And, I was kidding with the kids. I said, you girls, when you get married, just use this as a model. Say, this is what we want, right? All that gold and silver and cattle and everything, the 10 camels laden with goods. So we don't do that these days, so we'll see. All right, so he goes to the family and he comes to Bethuel, who is a cousin of Abraham, and his son Laban. And the son sees all this wealth, and of course he perks right up. And whether he intruded on his father's role as being the head of the family, or whether, being the oldest son, it was his right to start negotiating, anyway, he gets involved. The point is, and we're going to find out later on, because Isaac's son Jacob goes to Laban to work for him and marry his two daughters. But Laban's basically greedy. He wants the wealth. He likes the idea of the wealth. And he loves the idea of his sister Rebekah marrying into this family. So how did Eliezer choose Rebekah? Well, he says a prayer. Eliezer gets to the area. He gets to a well. He says a prayer, and the prayer happens right away. He says, please, Hashem, help me out with this. Your servant Abraham is looking for a wife for his son Isaac. And please may it be a proper woman, a woman that's going to show us hospitality, the same hospitality that Abraham showed the travelers when they came past his tent, and that he showed the angels disguised as men. So sure enough, no sooner does he stop saying the prayer, or does he finish up his prayer, but Rebekah shows up, and instead of gossiping, with the other woman there, she gets to work. She sees Eliezer and she has him drink. She holds the jug and has him drink from the jug, and without any prompting, she says, and I'll also water your camels. Camels drink a lot, right? Camels, they store water, I believe, in their humps, and they just drink a ton of water, and they go on and for days, and then they have to refill their water. And so the camels are drinking from the trough, and she's filling up and filling up and filling up, right? And and Eliezer realizes that this is the right person. This is the person that Isaac needs to marry. So he goes back with the family. He meets Laban and the rest of the family. He negotiates, and they say, well, it's really proper for Rebekah to stick around for 10 months to a year, which is the courtship, the betrothal period. And Rebecca says, no, Rivka, she says, I want to go right away. And Eliezer takes her, and they ride off on the camel, and they come to Isaac, who is in the field praying, and they say that Isaac was praying at dusk. This is the institution of the mincha, or the afternoon prayer. And he sees her, she sees him, and they love each other. And it says, and so Isaac was comforted for the loss of his mother. And so now we see the succession of our patriarchs. We see Abraham, and we see Isaac, and we're going to see another couple of portions, and then we're going to be introduced to Jacob and Esau, and we'll see how that turns out. So thank you for listening. Again, let me know if you're interested in participating in a Torah class each week. Maybe we'll keep it to about 40 minutes like we've been doing, like the Zoom gives us, and we'll talk a little bit, or some of you even want to learn Hebrew. So one way or another, I'm your rabbi. I'm here to serve you, and I love it when people want to learn Hebrew, when they want to participate in services, when they want to do classes. It's awesome. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom, and we will talk to you again soon.